Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to another daily rundown, another cruise the news, another Matt Kim podcast. I don't know what we're calling yet, but we are going through the headlines of the day and some that we missed, maybe some that they hid from you. Because I ran into this one story and I don't know how I missed it. I feel like this should have been national news everywhere. Every single channel should have been talking about this. Every single page should have been talking about this. And when I heard that this had happened, I was like shocked. I couldn't believe I've never heard this story before. And as soon as I read it, I was like, Will, have you heard this story? And he's like, dude, no. I'm like, what? How is that even possible? How is this not front page of the news and the lead story on every single news channel? So we're going to cover it here. Apparently, there was a bomb factory in Tennessee that blew up last week, October 10th. What would that be? 1 week ago?
Yep.
A week ago, a bomb factory. A factory that makes bombs blew up in the United States and we didn't cover it? Massive blast leveled accurate energetic systems in Humphreys County, Tennessee on October 7th. The shockwave was felt 20 to 30 miles away. At first, they thought it was 19 workers that were presumed dead and missing. Eventually, they reduced it and said, no, actually, one of the people, we found them at home. They didn't go to work that day. 18. Interesting. About AES. They manufacture military-grade explosives, RDX, HMX, for the U.S. DoD and defense contractors. They're one of the few U.S. contractors that make these materials, these high-energy compounds, as they call them, in the United States. 300 responders deployed. The nearby areas were evacuated. FBI, ATF, TBI, OSHA, all part of the investigation, trying to figure out what happened. And they're like, oh, nothing went wrong. No foul play here. Okay, I don't know. I just heard about this story today, and I was so shocked. I mean, look at this picture. This entire facility was just leveled. 18 Americans died working in a bomb factory. And why is this not covered? I mean, that's really the biggest question I've had, because it's in rural Tennessee. But at the same time, a weapons manufacturer bomb factory within... Dude, am I going to get demonetized for saying bomb so many times? It's like being on a airplane and you say bomb and like bomb. Remember?
It's part of the news.
Remember what movie was that? Meet the Fockers?
Yeah.
Or Meet the Parents?
Something like that.
Where Ben Stiller's like bomb, 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 bomb. A bomb factory in Tennessee, in the United States, blows up, completely leveled. And is that the only picture we have, Will, or do we have another one?
That's the only one.
If a factory, a bomb factory, blows up and the explosion is so large that it demolishes and evaporates the entire building, I find it curious that there's like no hole in the ground. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe I'm not an engineer. But why was this not covered? Maybe they don't want you to think about the fact that there are weapons manufacturers being run maybe in a haphazard, unsafe way within the United States, possibly. Maybe it's because it would bring accountability to the Pentagon and to the DoD, because they should be monitoring and making sure that these, which are in around residential neighborhoods, that they should be safer. Or maybe because there's like not a huge political angle to be played here. You know, there's like no race involved.
Are you sure there weren't any trans bomb makers in there?
Yeah, I mean, they could have said that, couldn't they?
Right.
It was like an anti-ICE trans bomb maker that blew it up. I mean, I guess they could have ran with that narrative, but then it would make the military in the military-industrial complex look vulnerable. Or maybe it's the whole thing is just to cover up the military-industrial complex, to make them... People think they're so competent, and then if you found out that they're kind of incompetent and that they're just blowing up, then maybe that would ruin it. I don't know. But sure you missed it because I missed it. Something to look more into. I think we'll continue to track this story moving forward because I have not heard this. And maybe there'll be more information come out, or maybe it just gets shoved under the rug. Bomb factory blows up in Tennessee and no one talked about it. Isn't that interesting? Moving on. Have you guys seen this clip? So if you guys remember what was it, like a month ago, 2 months ago, when that Israeli information person, I forget his exact title, when the Israeli government official got arrested for soliciting underage girls in Nevada. And he was supposed to show up for his hearing, and they let him out after the hearing, and then he ran away and they extracted him back to Israel. Apparently, the arrest video is now available for our consumption. Let's watch it.
Let me see your hands. Put them on the steering wheel. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Over here. Hands behind your back.
Well, that is an Israeli government official as police arrest him as part of a sex sting. That official was in town for a cybersecurity conference, now facing a sex-related charge.
So prosecutors say he drove to a park to meet a 15-year-old girl. And
videos and evidence the 80s Now investigators obtained show what was said in those chats before police detained him and he left the country.
Get out of the car. Hands behind your back.
This is the moment Henderson police took 38-year-old Tom Alexandrovich into custody. Alexandrovich, an Israeli government official, accused of meeting a young girl for sex.
You want to grab the cell phone in the middle?
Police say Alexandrovich was in town for a cybersecurity conference. Prosecutors say he drove from his hotel all the way to a park in Henderson to meet that girl, who was really an FBI agent working undercover as part of a sex sting.
You're going to the station, so you have to put your handcuffs.
Yeah. Police say Alexandrovich met the decoy on a dating app, the conversation then moving over to WhatsApp. Grand jury transcripts revealing in that conversation, the undercover agent told Alexandrovich she was, quote, only 15, and that she's, quote, too young to get into most places. The decoy later asking Alexandrovich to, quote, bring condoms. With the agreement, they meet at the park.
He posted that bond before any judge.
Alexandrovich's attorneys telling a judge during a hearing in September that the app where the conversation began actually requires users be over 18. Transcripts also revealing Alexandrovich felt, quote, pushed when condoms came into the conversation. Now, hours after his arrest, Alexandrovich posted $10,000 bail, never saw a judge, and left the country. We first reported a grand jury later indicted him on that charge of luring a child for sexual conduct. Alexandrovich's attorneys say he maintains his innocence and intends to contest those grand jury findings we just showed you.
So this guy gets caught in an FBI sting operation. There's evidence. He is indicted. He gets let go, $10,000 bond, which is crazy because there's so much proof that this guy was soliciting minors. He gets extracted and goes back to Israel. And now he's doing these hearings from Israel. He doesn't even have to come back into this country. He's going to stay there. I don't know if there's an extradition treaty with Israel. I'm assuming there is, but I don't think they'll ever send him back. This guy, it's kind of disgusting, isn't it? If it were you or me, not going to happen. We would be in jail for a really, really long time. This Israeli guy working on cybersecurity, of course, gets a slap on the wrist, gets to go back home, maybe to his family, that must be an awkward situation, going home and you're like, oh yeah, I can't go back to the United States anymore. Like, oh, why? Why, honey? Why can't you go back? Like, oh, like, don't watch the news. Don't turn on the news. Don't Google my name.
Don't watch the Matt Kim podcast.
Definitely don't do that, And he gets to go. So, accountability for you, for me. Your Israeli cybersecurity guy reports directly to Bibi Netanyahu. No big deal. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Talking about nothing to see here. I feel like Venezuela. I feel like this Venezuela story is just going to be one of those that keeps on coming back. Because we were under this impression that, oh no, we're going to not have any new wars. Oh, there's these drug dealers. We talked about it over and over and over again. But yet, every day, I look up at the news and I see what's going on. It's more Venezuela. It's constantly Venezuela, Venezuela, Venezuela. There's 3 Venezuela stories that we're going to touch on real briefly. The first one. So the last time, the most recent time that they blew up a boat in the water in the Caribbean, now they're saying, because, there were Venezuelan drug dealers. Trinidad and Tobago's like, oh, bro, 2 of those people you killed, they weren't Venezuelan. They were ours. Wait a second. What? I thought we were killing narco terrorists. Oh, no. It was like 2 Trinidadian, Tobagan citizens.
Oops.
They were on fishing boats. Oh, sorry, guys. Whoops. Made a mistake. We talked about this last time. There are going to be mistakes. And in the process of having no due process and just blowing up boats, we're going to start killing innocent people. Fishermen. Trinidadian and Tobagan fishermen. Blowing up using American missiles. It's like, wait a second. We're blowing up people in the Caribbean. We're blowing up buildings. I don't know if we're blowing up. They're blowing up in Tennessee. Is there a pattern here? So first we find out that the Trinidadian and Tobagans are being blown out of the water in the Caribbean, which is, I think it's like a really tiny country. It's kind of strange to even blow them up. And then we found out that amongst that crew, actually one of them has survived. There is a survivor off of one of the ships that were blown up. If we're talking about the ships that were blown up and there's a survivor, who is a survivor? Do we ever get to know that? U.S. Strike in Caribbean leaves survivors. Can we find out who the survivors were? Are they Venezuelan? Are they Venezuelan narco? Like, who are they? I don't know if they'll ever tell us, but now we're finding that it's starting to get a little sloppy, which is really concerning. Because at first they're like, oh, we're going to blow up these drug dealers that are bringing so much fentanyl, and this is the biggest problem in the United States right now, so we have to stop them. It has nothing to do with all the oil and the fact that we're trying to overthrow the government in Venezuela. That's not the reason. It's because of the Venezuelan terrorists that are coming in the country. We got to blow them out of the water. This is a big deal. Look. And then now we're blowing up fishermen that we're leaving survivors. They don't want to tell us who the survivors are. A lot of questions today, not a lot of answers. I kind of want to know, who do we kill? Who are we blowing up? Who survived? Where did they go? What are we asking them? What are we finding out? Does that have anything to do with the drugs coming in, or is there an ulterior motive? There's enough evidence, there's enough people, there's enough survivors, there's enough threads and strings to pull where we can start unraveling it and figure out some truth. Let's get to the bottom of this. We will continue to track this story. But to make it even weirder, to make it even more odd, to add even more questions to what the hell is going on with Venezuela, then we find out that Admiral Alvin Halsey, this is the gentleman that is in charge of military strikes in the Caribbean. He was brought on at the end of last year. Typically, they do 3-year tours or three-year assignments. And within a year of being on assignment for these military strikes in the Caribbean, being in charge of what's going on over there, he has decided to retire. Retire 2 years early. They say it's because he was not comfortable with what was going on. What does that mean? When the person who's in charge of the organization, the person in charge who's in charge of the attacks, he's like, I don't know. I'm just going to retire. I don't know if I can do this, guys. Doesn't that add even more questions? And I feel like we're the only people that talk about Venezuela a lot. But this is an active engagement and an active war that we are starting to slowly be pulled into. And the fact that we don't want to cover it and they're like, oh no, it's just drugs. And then we just push it aside. We should be asking more questions about what's going on, especially since the U.S. Admiral in charge of the strikes all of a sudden early retires because something's not right. We will continue to track Venezuela because if we end up in a legitimate war and engagement with Venezuela, they're extremely close to us. We were told they're everywhere. They've broken in. They've opened up the prisons. They're all in the United States now. Well, that's a problem. Let's figure out what's going on. Coming this weekend is the No Kings Rally. We've talked about this. I'm on the fence. I am not big on these liberal kind of crazy rallies. I think it's weird. Probably smells a lot. Probably a lot of signs. At the same time, I am interested because they say it's going to be, close to 1 million people showing out? That's kind of their projection. They're going to be having these rallies all over the country. We already talked about who started it last episode. I'm curious to see how this goes. I don't know if it's going to be as violent or damaging as BLM unless they artificially make it. I've seen some of the Democrat leaders starting to promote it. So it's from this kind of fringe movement to the Democratic establishment has kind of co-opted into it and they're pushing it out. Hey, if you're against what Trump is doing, this is where you need to show up. I don't know if that's really what this is anyway. I don't like a lot of things Trump is doing, but I also don't want the crazy liberals to be in charge. It's not easy. It's not an easy place to be right now. I think a lot of you guys are feeling that. You can't really go to the left because there's some crazy shit out there. Don't know if you really want to go to the right because it's a little dystopian for me. Kind of stuck in the middle. Not really happy with what Trump is doing. At the same time, don't want to really be overly supportive of these rallies. But at the same time, I like the fact that people organize and protest. I think that's a very American thing to do. This is not a protest where it's just mobbing the street. This is like organized protest. That's a good thing, right? Even though I don't agree with maybe how they do it, or I don't agree with them individually or completely as an organization, I'm not against the idea of organized protest. Let's see how it goes this weekend. Is it going to turn real violent? I don't know. I don't think so. I did see that here in Atlanta, NBA YoungBoy, who oddly got the pardon from Donald Trump. NBA YoungBoy was supposed to have a concert in Atlanta, and they canceled it. I think because of these protests are going to go down. How many people will show up? How big it is? Maybe it depends on weather. I don't know. I'm really curious though. I'm really curious to see what Saturday looks like. If it's going to be absolute chaos. If it's going to be well organized. If people are going to be well behaved. I feel like if the Democrats really want to take advantage of it, they would have as many people show up as possible and have nothing bad happen because they can use that narrative. I feel like there are going to be people within the current establishment that are going to, just like when BLM organized, and they hit the streets, and then you had these people like inciting violence and leaving pallets of bricks all over the place. Just like when January 6th happened, and there were people protesting outside, and then all of a sudden the FBI comes like, oh, let's go inside. It's good in here. Are they going to be instigators in this mix? I would probably say yes. If they can keep their self-control, not lose it, which is asking a lot, I know. Because, there's going to be a lot of twerking on cop cars probably. For the gram. Gotta get it. If it stays civil, this could be interesting. If it goes off the rocker, then it's going to give the current establishment and current regime opportunity to use that to fuel more surveillance, more control. I pray that you guys, if you guys do go to the protest, I do pray that you guys are civil and that no one gets hurt, no major crimes occur. Because if it goes bad, I'm telling you, they're going to use that for more surveillance, more control. Look, we need to send more federal troops in the cities. Look at what they did. Keep your shit together. When we think about Congress and we think about our politicians, one of the things that we say, well, how do you fix government? And a lot of times we're like, well, term limits. Because some of these people are in there just way too long. 40 years plus. If you've been in the government for 40 plus years as a senator, for example, do you even know what your constituents want anymore? Are you even capable of making decisions on behalf of the people that you say you represent? Well, Mitch McConnell.
Excuse me, Senator? My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
Hey.
Dude. This guy should not be a senator any longer. It's ridiculous. This is not the first time we've seen him fall. And we all said, everyone on the right, when we saw Joe Biden fall off his bike, when we saw him fall, everyone's like, no, he's incompetent. He's not cogent. He needs to go. This is a huge problem. We need to get rid of Joe Biden. Hey, did anyone check his cognitive ability? Let's check him out. Joe Biden can't stand. He's falling down the stairs. He's falling down the stairs, going up. It's not easy. And then you have Mitch McConnell, literally just walking and falling. What was it? It was like a year ago where Mitch McConnell was giving the press conference.
And he froze.
And just for like 2 minutes. He has been a senator for 40 years. 40 years he's been a senator. I think it's time that we let him go. There needs to be a shift from government, from this older class of people that don't understand the changing of society, don't understand the changing of technology. They're just jumping in, using hot words and keywords. Blockchain. Tokenization. Decentralized. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just saying the words like it's an SEO search engine. And they don't get it. And these are the people that are running, making decisions of our society, from our government. They have real repercussions on how we live our lives. It's time for them to go. There needs to be change. Talking about handicapped and fails. Good segue. I don't know if this is a fail or not, but I saw this video, and I think it's kind of an older video, but I ran into this video, and I I couldn't stop laughing. I think it's an older video. But if you want to feel good about life in the most worst sick way, you want to feel good about yourself, but yet feel bad about feeling good about yourself, this is a good one to watch.
He is ruining the game for everyone, man. This is not fair. You should not allow this. There needs to be a rule that bans. Look at his face. This guy just knows he's cheating the system. They can't reach it. They're in wheelchairs. There's no way for this guy to make a play on the ball, on the serve. He's not even going to give him one chance to... Oh, my goodness, man. This guy needs to be banned immediately for being way too smart and way too good at this.
You think life is tough. You could be the handicapped guy in a wheelchair playing table tennis against a guy that's giving you unreachable serves. Life ain't easy. But chances are you probably have better than most. See you next week.